We all know the story of Jesus, the greatest man America has ever known. The man who single-handedly punched the devil back to hell and helped George Washington write the Constitution. But story about him that don't get told. His time spent in the desert between the tender age of 12 and 30 when he appeared in Israel.
Your humble narrator knows what truly transpired in those years, and he fully intends to tell you. This story, as I like to tell it, begins with
Mary, a good gal by any standard that no one wanted.
Except God! God was mighty keen on her. And one day when her back was turned, God did send the Holy Seed down to her. Like thunderbolt. Out blue sky. This Holy Seed did strike her down and left her with child. Hallelujah!
Although the baby was God's and she did know that he was destined for greatness, Mary was filled with shame to be pregnant out of wedlock. When the time came, she did hide herself in a barn and gave birth to the greatest man in history's memory. She named him Jesus Christ.
Now, the king of Israel, Herod, did hear word of this barn baby and swore to have the child of God executed at the earliest possible convenience. Fortunately, 3 old men heard of Herod's plan and, mounting their fastest donkeys, set out to warn Jesus and his family. And so they set out for the desert, as our young hero and his family did settle in the desert of Mexico.
One of the most unhospitable places on the whole goddamn earth.
In order to hide his identity from old King Herod's spies, the family did agree that Jesus' name should be changed to Jesus. As our story proceeds, I should remind you that at this time, Mexico was not the popular vacation destination that it is today. It was a miserable, lawless place whose king was an old, bedridden fool. This king had let his kingdom fall to ruin, and the whole country had filled up with ferocious banditos, mean as coyotes they were, and would just soon kill a man as rob him. The poor Mexicans, they did live in fear. Nevertheless, our young hero and his mother managed to start new life farming peppers and wrangling coyotes. One day, while chasing coyotes away from his mother's prize-winning peppers, Jesus, he did chance upon a sight both beautiful and devastating to behold. This was no other than King of Mexico's daughter, Princess
Amidala, as she rode her magical tauntaun through the scrublands and pepper plantations.
Our hero felt a stirring in his breast, a rumbling in his stomach, and he was in love. But he knew that the Princess of Mexico
could never love a humble peasant such as he.
And so he suffered in silence. At this time, Mexico was quickly filling up with communists. See, they were multiplying at such a rate in Mother Russia that they had to start sending some abroad. Mexico, being such a lawless place, was prime real estate for these evil men and women. And now listen, the biggest, meanest, and by far the most evil of all the communists in Mexico was none other than
Leon Trotsky, Lenin's left-hand man and consort.
himself.
Trotsky knew that the king of Mexico was feeble and bedridden and that it would please and immensely if Mexico was to fall under communist control.
and he set out to do exactly that.
He began building an army and making plans. Soon they were ready and they launched their attack.
The king and his poorly organized army were quickly defeated, and Trotsky crowned himself the new king of Mexico and began planning his wedding to the young Princess Amidala to legitimize his new ill-gotten position. As her story goes, Jesus was tending to the pepper crops one day, and on this day, the clouds did part and the sky did rumble.
God's face did appear and the earth looked like a farrowing sow. He did command Jesus to drop his pickled pepper and pick up his pistol. Trotsky must have stopped this communism. Not good for Mexico or anywhere else, God did say.
Jesus did not possess the power to stop Trotsky and his army alone.
And that is why God gave him a gift. A most powerful weapon. Benjamin Franklin's last and by far greatest invention. It was a mechanical donkey that could speak and fly and possess the power of electricity, which he could shoot bolts of, which would render both naysayers and heathens asunder.
Jesus decided that he would share his name, and thenceforth the donkey's name was Jesus to match. Worried of defeat, Jesus the boy and Jesus the ironically named donkey knew they were no match for the vast hordes of evil communists that Trotsky had amassed, and so they put a call out. After endless interviews, the Jesuses settled on the 40 toughest, meanest banditos Mexico had to offer. They were now ready to smash communism and vanquish the bastard Trotsky. So, the Jesuses and the 40 banditos marched into Mexico's capital.
Imbeciles up! Form arms and body! Form feet and legs!
Okay, well, maybe we make it a rotating cloud of fists and weapons to fall behind the Jesuses. It could run head on into Trotsky's commie army and make a sort of bigger cloud. Yeah, like that. Yeehaw! Oh, surprise! The Jesuses beat the tar out of them antifreeze drinking commies and marched to the right up to the ninth circle of Trotsky's inner lair. The Jesuses call Trotsky out to fight. He laughs, emerges, and announces that he brought Satan with him.
Satan rises.
Round two, fight!
This here's my favorite part, with all the fighting and the punching and exploding and where the donkey's face melts like off that Nazi in Indiana Jones when he looks upon the Ark of the Covenant like a damn fool.
This is where Amidala rushes up and does the whole my hero, my darling, my dumpling, my pickle, plum pot, etc., etc. You saved the day. I will take my poor dead father's place and restore Mexico to its former glory, etc., etc. This should probably be kept real short.
And be like a beauty pageant winner speech, where you can promise a puppy in every home and a pepper in every pie. And she can heal the earth with nothing but hairspray and
I'm not entirely clear if we should do all this or just end at the victory speech. I think that it was a pretty good ending. Can't beat glittery swimsuits. Maybe just tack on a walk into the sunset or some shit. But eventually Jesus married some whore and lived happily ever after. Forget this part. I don't want to do it.